Once upon a time, in the bright and busy village of Alaka, everyone was buzzing with excitement. Today was a very special day. It was Lola's wedding. Lola was known all over for her beautiful singing and her kind smile. She was marrying Chima, a brave warrior from the next village, Lakama. The sun shone brightly, making everything look golden as the villagers got everything ready. Women in colorful dresses cooked big pots of rice and stew, and men set up places for everyone to sit and decorated the village square with leaves and flowers. Lola was in a room, looking at herself in a shiny bronze mirror. She wore a stunning dress made from Kuba cloth, decorated with shiny beads that sparkled in the sunlight. Her mother, Ayo, carefully placed a lovely headdress on Lola's head and said softly, "You look beautiful, my heart," trying not to cry. Outside, the drums started playing loud and clear, calling everyone to come together. Lola took a deep breath, feeling a bit nervous. When she walked outside, everyone cheered and clapped. Kids danced around her, and flowers fell like rain as she walked towards the big baobab tree where Chima was waiting. Chima looked strong and proud in his warrior clothes, which showed all his achievements. He smiled widely when he saw Lola, but she noticed something in his eyes that made her feel a little worried, a look she couldn't quite understand. They both stood under the baobab tree while the village elder said special prayers, asking their ancestors to watch over Lola and Chima. They promised to always be there for each other. But when Chima held her hand, he held it so tightly that it made Lola uncomfortable. The party went on until it was dark. There was a lot of dancing and laughter, and everyone seemed happy. Lola tried to enjoy herself, and she smiled and danced, but she couldn't shake off her worry. Even though it was a beautiful night with delicious food and great music, Lola felt a shadow of doubt creeping into her heart. In the days following the wedding, Lola and Chima began their life together in their small cozy hut in Alaka. At first, everything seemed perfect. Chima would go out to hunt or train with other warriors, and Lola would spend her days weaving baskets and singing the songs she loved. But soon, Lola noticed that Chima was starting to act differently. He began to come home from hunting with a frown that wouldn't go away. At dinner, if Lola laughed too loudly or sang a little, Chima would glare at her, his eyes narrowing in a way that made her stop mid-note, her heart suddenly heavy. One day, Lola decided to cheer up Chima by making his favorite meal, spicy yam stew. She spent all afternoon in the kitchen chopping yams and adding just the right amount of spices. But when Chima came home and tasted the stew, his face twisted in anger. "This is too spicy, Lola. Can't you do anything right?" he snapped, pushing his bowl away so hard it nearly fell off the table. Lola's eyes filled with tears. She didn't understand what she had done wrong. She tried to apologize, but Chima just stormed out of the hut, leaving her alone with her confusion and the cold stew. The next few weeks were filled with more moments like this. Chima's temper grew worse, and he started blaming Lola for things that weren't her fault. If he had a bad day hunting, or if it rained too much, he said it was because Lola was singing too much or not keeping the house clean enough. Lola felt like she was working on eggshells, trying not to make Chima angry. But no matter how quietly she moved or how carefully she cooked, it seemed like Chima always found something to be upset about. Then, one evening, something happened. Lola was late coming back from the river where she had gone to fetch water. She had stopped to help an old woman carry her basket, and the sun had set faster than she expected. When she finally hurried home, bucket balanced on her head, Chima was waiting for her at the door. His face was like a dark cloud ready to burst. "Why are you so late?" he demanded, his voice cold and sharp. Lola, frightened, explained about helping the old woman. But Chima didn't seem to hear. "You're lying," he shouted. "You're just lazy and careless." Before Lola could say anything more, Chima raised his hand and Lola felt a sharp pain on her cheek. She stumbled backward, her hand flying to her face, her eyes wide with shock and pain. That night, Lola cried herself to sleep, her cheek throbbing and her heart broken. She couldn't understand how the man she married, who had looked at her with so much love under the baobab tree, could now look at her with so much anger. As the moon crept across the sky, Lola felt lost and alone. She wondered if there was anyone who could help her, anyone who could make things like they were in the beginning. But the village was quiet, and the only sound was the whispering of the wind through the leaves, as if nature was holding its breath, waiting to see what will happen next. Days turned into weeks, and Lola's bright spirit dimmed under the cloud of Chima's anger. Each morning, she woke up to the chirping of birds and the warm African sun, hoping for a better day. But each evening, she went to bed with a heavy heart. Her friends in the village noticed the change too. Lola no longer sang as she fetched water from the river, and her laughter, once as clear as the ringing of a bell, barely echoed in the marketplace. One warm afternoon, as Lola sat weaving a basket under the shade of the mango tree in their yard, her best friend Cynthia visited her. Cynthia had been Lola's friend since they were little girls, chasing butterflies and dreaming of their futures. Now, she looked at Lola with worried eyes. "Lola, you haven't been yourself," Cynthia said gently, sitting down beside her. "What's troubling you, my friend?" Lola tried to smile, but her eyes filled with tears instead. The dam broke, and all her fears and pain poured out. She told Cynthia about Chima's harsh words and sudden anger, and how he had even hurt her the other night when she was late getting home. Cynthia was shocked. She took Lola's hands in hers, her grip firm and comforting. "This is not right, Lola. Chima should be caring for you, not causing you pain. We need to talk to someone who can help," Cynthia insisted. Together, they decided to go to Mama Fola, the village healer and wise woman. Mama Fola was known for her wisdom and her ability to solve difficult problems. She lived at the edge of the village, her hut surrounded by plants and herbs that whispered secrets of old. As Lola and Cynthia approached, Mama Fola was tending to her garden. She looked up, her eyes sharp and kind. "I've been expecting you," she said, as if she knew already why they had come. Inside her hut, surrounded by jars of dried herbs and roots, Lola told Mama Fola everything. Mama Fola listened quietly, her face serious. When Lola finished, Mama Fola spoke in a steady voice. "Abuse is like a weed in a garden. If we don't pull it out, it will spread and ruin everything beautiful." She then stood and went to a shelf crowded with jars and pulled down a small dusty bottle. "This is not just any oil," she explained. "It is made from the rare blue lily, known for its power to calm anger and bring peace. Give this to Chima in his tea. But this is just the start. We must speak to the elders about this." Lola felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, there was a way to mend things, to bring back the loving Chima she remembered from their wedding day. After visiting Mama Fola, Lola felt a tiny spark of hope. She followed the wise woman's advice, adding the blue lily oil to Chima's tea every evening. For a few days, it seemed to work. Chima was calmer and didn't shout as much. Lola dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, things could get better. But the peace was short-lived. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky a fiery orange, Chima came home angrier than ever. The oil had run out, and with it, the calm it had brought. Chima stormed into their hut, his face twisted with rage, upset over a dispute with another warrior. Lola tried to calm him, her voice trembling, but this only seemed to make him angrier. He raised his hand to strike her, but this time, Lola was not alone. Cynthia, who had been visiting more often to keep an eye on her, stepped forward. She grabbed Chima's arm, stopping him mid-air. "Enough, Chima! This has to stop!" she shouted. Hearing the commotion, neighbors gathered outside the hut, their murmurs growing into loud protest as they began to understand what was happening. The village elder, Mr. Kwame, pushed through the crowd, his face stern and authoritative. "What is the meaning of this?" Mr. Kwame demanded. Chima, caught off guard and embarrassed, tried to explain, but the villagers were no longer willing to turn a blind eye. Mr. Kwame decided that it was time for the whole village to address the issue. He called for a village meeting under the baobab tree, the very place where Lola and Chima had been married. It was under this same tree that the community would decide how to heal and move forward. At the meeting, Lola, with Cynthia by her side, shared her story. Her voice was steady, stronger than before, as she spoke of pain and fear. Chima listened, his head bowed, unable to meet her eyes. The villagers listened intently, their faces a mix of shock, anger, and sadness. Mr. Kwame spoke after Lola. "We are a village, and in our village we protect each other. Chima, you have broken our trust and the peace of your own home. This cannot continue," he declared. The elders discussed what actions to take. They decided that Chima needed to learn how to manage his anger and that he couldn't live with Lola until they were sure he had changed. They arranged for him to stay with the village healer, who would teach him about respect and kindness. They also set up regular meetings for Lola and other villagers who might be suffering in silence, creating a support group led by Mama Fola. They wanted everyone to know that they were not alone and that the village was a place of safety for everyone. The meeting ended with a solemn promise from all the villagers to look out for one another and to never let silence hide pain again. Lola felt a weight lift from her shoulders, surrounded by her friends and neighbors who had come together to support her. That night, as Lola walked home under the stars, she felt the first true sense of safety in a long time. The village had taken a stand, and for the first time in months, she slept without fear. As the seasons changed in Alaka, Lola's life began to blossom anew. She found joy and support in Kofi, a kind and respectful craftsman who had recently moved to the village. Kofi's gentle nature and warm laughter brought a new light to Lola's days, and it was clear to everyone that he treated her like gold. He listened to her thoughts, celebrated her strengths, and supported her dreams, making him a rare and valuable presence in her life. Their friendship slowly turned into love, and they spent many evenings walking by the river, sharing stories and dreams under the expansive African sky. Meanwhile, Chima was returning to the village after spending months learning about kindness and patience with Baba Chikodi, the wise healer. Though he had changed in many ways, the sight of Lola, so happy and respected by Kofi, stirred old feelings of jealousy and anger within him. One day, Chima decided to confront Lola. He found her near the river laughing as Kofi carved a small playful figure from wood. The sight fueled Chima's anger, and he approached them quickly, his face dark with fury. "Lola, you belong to me!" Chima shouted as he rushed towards her, his hands clenched. Startled, Lola backed away, but Kofi stepped between them, trying to calm Chima down. "Chima, you need to stop. You can't treat Lola like this anymore," Kofi said firmly, standing as a protector and a pillar of respect for Lola. Chima, blinded by anger, pushed Kofi aside and lunged at Lola. But as he did, his foot caught on a slippery rock by the river's edge. He stumbled, his arms flailing as he tried to regain his balance. But it was too late. Chima slipped and fell into the rushing river, the waters quickly sweeping him away before anyone could react. The village was shocked by the news of Chima's tragic fall. The elders and Baba Chikodi gathered to discuss the event. This is a sad end, but it shows that our actions always have consequences. Baba Chikodi told the villagers, "We must remember to walk with care and respect towards others." Lola was shaken by the incident, but found comfort in Kofi's support and the sympathy of the village. As time passed, she focused on helping others who faced challenges, using her experience to guide and support them. Lola and Kofi eventually married in a beautiful ceremony under the baobab tree, surrounded by friends and family who celebrated their union and the new beginnings it represented. The village rejoiced in their happiness, embracing the couple with open arms and hopeful hearts. Lola's life had taken many turns, but each step taught her more about strength, love, and the importance of community. As she stood beside Kofi, looking out at the faces of her fellow villagers, she knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together with the love and support of Alaka guiding them. and the moral of this story today. Dear listeners, the story of Lola and her journey teaches us a very important lesson. Being in a relationship where someone is hurting you, either with words or actions, is never okay. Everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and respect. And it is important to remember that you have the right to feel safe and loved in your relationships. If someone finds themselves in a situation like Lola's, where they are being hurt by somebody that they care about, it is important to talk to somebody that they trust, like a friend, a family member, or someone else in the community, just like Lola did when she talked to her friend Cynthia and Mama Fola. Getting help and support from others can make a big difference. The village coming together to support Lola shows that when we work together, we can help stop bad things from happening to those around us. It reminds us that no one should have to deal with tough situations alone. Now, I want to hear what you think about this story. Do you think that there are other ways to help someone who is in a situation like Lola's? Leave your comments below to share your thoughts. And if you think this story is important and can help others, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click the bell so you won't miss any of our videos. Sharing stories like this can help spread the word that it's important to stand up against hurting others and to support friends and family who may be in trouble. Thank you for watching, and let's keep supporting each other to make our community a safer and happier place for everyone. See you next time. Love you.